Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about a fairly common subject in communication. It's about communication, and I want to share my thoughts on this. Well, we know millions of people, maybe more, interact through various methods of communication every day. We've come a long way since the telegraph or what have you, in ascending to phones, and we go on the internet now and communicate. But the main thing I wanted to talk about and emphasize in this segment, what I think is interesting, is that it seems like we're all so dominated in this internet era that it seems like I don't think it's necessarily made telephone conversation obsolete. It hasn't eradicated it completely by any means. However, it seems like more people just really want to chat on the internet. They want to constantly send emails and they want to have their chat sessions in their chat room. And I think what's happened is you have so many websites and there's so much social media out there. I think we just get so enamored with this and so dominated by this that we almost forget that there is something called a telephone where we can actually speak and hear a voice and hear the inflection. I mean, sometimes on the internet you write something and it can be somewhat ambiguous and it can be taken in different levels, and sometimes it could wind up causing an argument because there was a miscommunication. Now, don't get me wrong, people. Miscommunications can occur in telephone conversation as well. But I think there's a greater propensity for this to occur on the internet as opposed to an in-person conversation or talking to somebody on the telephone. Now, this video, the few people that will actually view this, I'm really stating these things just to really have people understand, that the ones that are very dominated by the internet, to go on the phone and talk a little bit more person to person. There's nothing arduous about this task. It's just a matter of getting off the internet momentarily and even talk with somebody, even if it's for a 5-minute conversation. If it's somebody you haven't spoken with in some time, then you know what? Hang up your internet phone, quote unquote, and go on to an actual phone. And I understand that the internet does have a video chat like Skype, for example. I don't have that. I'm thinking about downloading it, but I've been procrastinating on it. I believe Facebook has some kind of video chat. Somebody had attempted to send a video chat to me, an invite to video chat with her, but what happened was my web browser apparently didn't support it, and I have Internet Explorer and that doesn't support it. But the Google, I believe Google is a Google Chrome, I believe, is what supports it. But I just didn't feel like making that transition and going from one web browser to the other just to have a video chat. Now, hopefully, Internet Explorer will at some point in the near future, I'm hoping by the end of this calendar year, that they could have their they could have their browser set up where it's compatible with video chat on Facebook, because that would be similar to an in-person conversation, and you could actually hear the voice from the other person in doing this. And it seems like more and more people are getting a Skype account, and this seems to be very popular. And it seems like it's a kind of that compromise. You're on the internet, you're on the computer, but you get to see someone face to face. It seems like I remember a while back that they were talking about video telephones, where you were like on the phone and you could see the person you were talking with. Now, I don't know if they actually have many of these out, or it's in an experimental stage, but I thought that was pretty interesting as far as an innovation goes, or invention. But the reality is, people, is that I think people get so they're so engrossed in what they're doing on the computer, and I'm guilty of it. I'm on the internet. As many of you may figure, I'm on the internet very frequently. And it's not even just about going to a telephone, for example, as opposed to the internet. Sometimes it's just about doing other things. And the internet is fine and everything. I know there's so many people infatuated with going on their computer and chatting with others and going on websites maybe where they can play interactive games with others. And I think that's part of the reason why being on the internet for a lot of people is a lot more alluring and enticing as opposed to being on the phone, because when talking to someone on the phone, maybe they're thinking, oh, all I'm doing is just conversing and communicating with the person, but I'm not really doing much of anything else. There's not as much enjoyment. But remember, people, there was a period before the internet where what else were you going to do as far as communication except talk with somebody in person or talk with them on the telephone? I know that seems like it was in the prehensile days, but in reality, that was a mere like 20, maybe a little over 20 years ago where this happened. And that's really a relatively short period of time. I can obviously remember because in, say, 1994, I was 24 years old, so you could do the math on that. And I mean, I remember very vividly, and it's like, the Virginia Slim slogan, we've come a long way, baby. So, but anyway, people, that's pretty much what I wanted to get on as far as communication goes. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.